Today on the Fermentation, are you following proper procedure for your fermentations?
Let's talk about it.
Welcome to the Fermentation. This is the podcast for the City Steading Brews YouTube channel. I'm Brian.
I'm Derica.
And today we're going over something that we would have thought was common sense, but you know what? It probably is really important to talk about. There's a lot of questions. We're seeing a lot of new people across all the channels.
Which is super exciting. We're so happy to see you. Welcome.
Yeah, that. And it means now we need to, let's go back to basics for just a quick second and make sure that we're covering them all before, people start jumping ahead and making their own recipes and adding 16 pounds of honey in a 1 pound container. And I don't even know how that would work, but you know what I mean.
It is really easy for us as seasoned brewers to go, oh yeah, you just do these things, no big. And forget about what it was like when we first started. And when we look back at those people, we're like,
all the brews that I screwed up.
Ouch, that was rough. So we're here to try to reel it back in and get real and help people out.
See, I was one of those, I can do it better than that.
Nope.
And I didn't.
Nope.
Until I knew what I was doing, and then I was able to.
Yeah.
But it took a while. It took some time. And that's part of learning, Somebody said you learn more from mistakes than you do by successes. And I have to agree.
It is true, but it still hurts.
Yeah.
So learn from our mistakes. That way you won't have to.
So today what we're going to talk about is basically just the procedures, the actual steps.
The mindset.
Of fermentation.
Point A, point B, point C, and so forth.
How do you get from A to Z? And what are the steps?
So the first thing, and this was something that Brian said, this needs to come before anything I wrote down, is...
decide on a recipe. Decide what you want to make. Now, when I say that...
your intent.
Yeah. What do you intend it to be? Like, we do this thing where we just kind of brainstorm. Like, oh, we have this ingredient or that ingredient, or we found this on sale, or, whoa, we found this thing and that looks really cool.
It's weird. What is it?
What can we do with it?
Yeah.
That's a slightly different approach than, say, somebody who is just starting out and is saying, what can I make? Don't just go out on your own and make something up, because trust me, I've been there, done that, and screwed it up 15 different ways.
We also know in the world of creativity, a blank slate can often be very intimidating and frightening.
Oh, yeah.
So you're just going to have to throw the dart. And make a decision. Are you going to make a mead? Are you going to make a wine? Are you going to make a cider? Are you going to make a beer?
That's
a
the
good
first
place
step.
to start.
Yep. Start with what base are you going to use is the easiest way. And in the very beginning, I would say stick to those 4 categories. Don't start mixing them and don't get crazy on me. Just start with something simple, because here's the thing, and I said this on the Unfiltered channel. By the way, we have an Unfiltered channel. It's called City Steading Unfiltered, where I rant about
Brian.
Various things.
All the time.
Yep. Sometimes I get loud.
All the time he gets loud.
Okay. All the time I get loud. But it's about different things that are important in brewing, and it's just entertaining. Okay. It is. Go watch it. We'll still be here. And now I lost my train of thought.
All right. We're back to intent.
Right.
What do you intend on making?
Okay.
Because once you have that in mind, then you can proceed forth. So let's say you want to make a mead. Okay, what do you need to make a mead? Well,
honey.
Mead is made from honey, so you certainly need honey.
Probably a liquid too.
And this is going to bring us to the next thing, which is
gathering
ingredients. And so when it comes to mead, you might have limited options of what honey is available to you within your budget, because honey can go from reasonable to very much not reasonable.
Now, we say gather ingredients because I can't tell you how many times we have started to make a video about something and partway through gone,
we don't have that.
Oops, we don't have any of that, so we can't do this today. We've done that many times.
Yeah, more than we care to admit, but this is full transparency.
In cooking, you call it mise en place. In brewing, we just call it gathering ingredients.
Yeah. So you want to have all your ducks in a row, all your ingredients available to you, so that way you know, oh, I was unable to get this one thing that I wanted, but I found this substitute. So that's going to bring
sometimes a substitute can work.
A different flavor profile, so I might have to create other things to go with that to augment or add to that particular flavor.
If you're just starting out, be careful about substitution. Make sure you know what you're substituting and why.
Yeah.
Don't just say, well, I want more alcohol, so I'm going to put in twice. Please don't do that. That's what I was getting to. I did a video on that on the Unfiltered channel.
Yes, he did.
I followed your recipe exactly,
but
yep. Anyway, so gathering ingredients is super important. Make sure you can see it. Make sure you have enough of everything. And do not start until you do. Don't start until you have the gear that you need. So many times I hear people that say, oh, I started this, but I didn't have a hydrometer yet. It's coming tomorrow.
Well,
why did you make it today then? It could have been made tomorrow.
Is really important in helping you determine if you have an issue.
Right.
And we've talked about this in other podcasts. I'll make sure to link the tools, podcast, and the description below so that way you can see the tools that we use and why we use them.
So gather ingredients is really gather ingredients and tools.
Yes. Yes.
All the things.
All the things. So that way you know you are good to go.
Put eyes on everything you're going to need. Just trust me. Oh my God, I have screwed it up so many times.
This might seem very
elementary.
of course, but honestly, knowing that you have everything ready and at your disposal before you get started is really going to save you a lot of frustration. We're speaking from experience. There's been so many times, even as seasoned brewers, we're like, oh, we don't have that thing. Why don't we have that thing? Well, because we didn't do this step. We didn't have all our tools and ingredients available to us and know we're good to go for that particular recipe.
Our ducks were not in a row.
No, our ducks are more like squirrels. They're just
They were in a
back and forth,
lopsided
going in
trapezoid.
traffic. I don't know. It's mass chaos.
Then you put it all together. But if you're following a recipe, that recipe usually has instructions as to when to do things. Some things are done in primary, some things are done in conditioning, some things are done after, all that kind of thing.
And there's reasons for these different time frames.
We constantly get asked this one. This happens all the time. They'll see us make a brew, and then we back sweeten it and pasteurize. And they want to know, could they have just have added that honey up front or that sweetener up front, and it would and still end up sweet so they wouldn't have to pasteurize? In theory, that's a great idea.
Right.
But in practice, it doesn't actually work that way most of the time.
And this is something that we've gone over in other discussions, but basic here is if you add too much fermentable sugars up front, you can cause a stall. You can actually cause your yeast to die, explode, literally, from the pressure of the additional fermentable sugars.
Or what if you used, like in the recipe, we used a yeast that could go to 14 or 15%, but the recipe only goes to 8%. Now we pasteurize and then we sweeten, or we sweeten then we pasteurize, either way.
Right.
And we end up with a lower than 14 or 15%. If you had just thrown in all the sugars at once, it would have fermented out dry.
Yep.
And then you'd end up having to back sweeten anyway, but now you have a balance issue compared to what we did.
Yep.
So this is where all these little things really do come into play. And there's so much more to recipe building than just slapping a bunch of stuff in a bucket. Now, don't get me wrong. I will be the first to admit that just taking a whole bunch of stuff, throwing it in a bucket, as long as you fall within certain realms of possibility, you're probably going to make something alcoholic that might actually taste pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a pretty strong way of doing it because, as I always say, fermentation wants to happen on its own. We just need to get the heck out of the way.
Yep.
So, yeah, you could do it, but it won't be a learning experience, you might say. You like if you just throw a bunch of stuff in a bucket and it ferments, what'd you learn? You can make alcohol. But did you really learn how those things interact with each other?
If you enjoyed that recipe, will you be able to replicate it?
Right. That's a big one.
Do you understand how or what occurred in that?
You know, what we need to put is a little sub thing here on that says take notes.
Sure.
Even if you're following a known recipe, take notes because you may change something, you may substitute something, you might have had a different experience than what the recipe said. If you take notes and it comes out great, you have a greater chance of being able to reproduce that closer to what you did. You're probably never going to make the same thing twice. I will say that with some amount of authority, but you could probably be 90%, maybe even a little better, 90% there.
Yeah.
But the better your notes and the more closely you follow those notes, the more closely you can replicate something from time to time.
I have an addiction, and my addiction is to hobbies. So I like to do
Mine is to having YouTube channels.
all the things. And I have noticed that note taking is a universal truth on whatever you strive to do.
She's got me to do it.
Be it brewing, cooking, baking, gardening, woodworking, cross stitch, photography. It doesn't matter what it is. Those notes and those nuances, the subtle differences between each project is going to aid you further down the line to create bigger and better things.
Yes. Once you assemble, once you have everything in place and you've taken your notes, now it's time
to ferment.
Let it go. Just let it go.
Step back.
In the words of the great Alton Brown, walk away. Just walk away. You do not have to screw with it. You do not have to mess with it. You do not have to touch it. You do not have to check it. You don't have to do a damn thing to it. Unless. There's always an unless or depends or except. Sure. If you have stuff floating, like whole fruits and things like that, or a bag that pokes out of the water, you want to make sure it stays moist. Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be a swirl. I just give it like a little, just shake it up a little bit to make sure that it stays wet. As long as it stays wet, you're good. And I do that every day, every other day, when I remember, but I try to do it every day. He likes
to mess with things. He likes to push the buttons.
Oh, I am a button pusher, and I will mess with things. There was a time that I was this type of brewer. I had a spreadsheet on my iPad that I counted the bubbles per minute.
Don't do that.
Every day of new brews, and I wrote them down. And then I would take a reading of them every day and write that down. And when you have 6 or 8 of them going at once, do you know how tedious that gets? I did that for about a month, and I went, what am I doing this for? It doesn't matter.
So if you have that tendency, if you know that is a part of you, then I suggest you get one of these.
Oh, the tilt?
This is a tilt. It is a digital hydrometer. You can put it in your brew as long as there's not a bunch of solids in there because it needs to be able to move around. And it will give you all the information you need without having to mess with your brew at all.
However, it's not as much fun as taking all the readings yourself.
You don't get to play mad scientist.
You don't get to do it.
But you do get to look at your charts and make notes.
But I want to say something. Doing all that checking actually was detrimental because there was a stronger possibility of an infection, getting oxygen, and all sorts of things can go wrong.
Yep.
Now, counting bubbles is just useless. I learned that. It means nothing.
Bubbles mean that something happened at some time.
Yeah, it could have been a month ago.
It doesn't mean that they're happening right now. It could simply be degassing. It could be temperature change. It could be...
Okay, bubbles in an airlock literally just means that the pressure was enough to push air through the water. Now, you can take plain water with no yeast, no fermentables of any kind, put an airlock on it, change the temperature by 5 degrees, and it'll bubble. Does that mean it's fermenting?
Nope.
No, it just means the pressure built up. That's all it means. So counting bubbles is useless. Just say it with me. Counting bubbles is useless.
Can you tell that Brian has gotten a few comments about that?
Okay, but I did it. That's the thing. I did. I understand. I get it. I know why people want to do it. It's something.
It's still totally fun to watch your bubbles.
Watching them, awesome.
If it brings you joy, watch the bubbles.
And I will say this. There is something to the fact that if they're bubbling really, really fast, fermentation's probably going strong. If it's going super, super slow and it's towards the end, then it's probably slowing down. But 12 bubbles per minute versus 10 means nothing.
Nope.
Nothing. Because at different temperatures, things will do things differently too. A colder temperature will not off-gas as quickly as a warmer temperature, so the bubbles will actually be different.
Even to this day, Brian's favorite thing is to have 2 active fermentations side by side and compare their bubble rate.
I don't do that anymore.
He will drive himself crazy.
I don't do it anymore.
Ignore the man behind the curtain. I'd be like, oh, that one's going faster. And then, oh, no, that one's going faster. No.
Okay, let's be honest. When's the last time I actually did that?
Ignore the bubbles. Just ignore the bubbles.
When's the last time I actually did that?
All right. Oh. Whoa.
And it's a good thing that we run on batteries because the power just blinked. Still going. We're good.
That was weird. That was a weird one.
Yeah, I'm thinking somebody just messed with our electric outside.
Please tell me they didn't just turn off all our That one's still going. I'll have to check those later. We have a multitude of refrigeration devices, and if any of them fail, bad things happen to our brews that we love and adore. All right, so you have
food
fermented. You've let it do its thing. You didn't mess with it. You didn't count bubbles. You just said, you know what? This is a glorious thing of nature. Let's just let it do its thing.
And once you've let it do its thing to the point that it's finished. Now, I know there's exceptions. We have stopped things early. We're not talking about that here. This is more of a beginner content.
Sure.
So let's assume you let fermentation complete naturally.
Right. So you took your hydrometer reading, you waited a week, you took another one. They're exactly the same. You know fermentation is done. What is time? It is time
to rack.
And that's where you take the stuff that you want and you transfer it to a new, clean, sanitized vessel, and you leave the gunk that you don't want in the old original fermentation vessel.
Preferably, you use an auto siphon, not just a piece of silicone tubing that you used your mouth to cause the suction.
Yeah.
I know people that do it. I still don't recommend it.
Right. But
just a thing.
You do you.
Yeah.
All right. So then you have racked. Now it's time
to taste it.
Is it good?
It's the first taste. Now, you have to go into this tasting with a grain of salt.
Sure.
And I don't mean in your mouth. I just mean...
Yeah, in your mind.
Don't have great expectations because it's going to be young. So there's going to be some maybe off flavors. There could be a little bit of sulfurous smells. There could be all sorts of things because fermentation is a kind of a hostile process.
Yeah.
So it could have had off flavors. It could have done all sorts of weird things. But you want to just taste it to see, like, is this absolutely vile and going to make me puke? Or is this, wow, okay, I see the bones of this. I can see where this could be something. And that's, to me, this is like the most crucial step in making a brew.
So you're thinking about it. What was your intent? Remember back from the very beginning, have you reached that intent or are you close to that intent now at this stage?
Or do you have to back up and punt? Do you have to change your plan?
Sometimes the brew has a mind of its own. And as long as you're flexible, which we really encourage that you are, the brew can lead you to a new intent that's even better than your original intent.
Right. You can, however, with adjustments, get it back to the original sometimes. Like if you tried it and you went, okay, this is just more dry than I really wanted, back sweeten it. Or it's kind of flabby. It doesn't have any mouthfeel. Add some acid to it. Acid blend works. Lemon juice works. Lime juice works.
Mouthfeel is more tannins. The punch is more acid.
Right. And mouthfeel can be applied with tannins or with oaking, which is an important thing too. Now, you might have had some tannins or mouthfeel added from what was in the brew, like some things that have skins and stems and seeds. They're all going to add some tannins to things.
Or if you added a tea addition at the
Tea
beginning.
is a wonderful thing for that. Yep. But if you need to adjust it, you can do it now. And it's at this point that we'll probably go for wine tannin rather than using tea. I like to use tea in primary, but not necessarily afterwards because now you're diluting it too.
Yep.
They're very different. And that's why we'll use acid additions rather than adding lemon peel or something like that.
Right.
Those I do in the primary, whereas like citric acid or acid blend, I'll add in conditioning because now it's just a little bit of a powder, boom, put it in, does the blending for you. Sweetness is easy.
Yep.
If you made a mead, you probably want honey. If you made a wine, you probably want a sugar of some type. Cider, same thing. Beer, generally, we don't do it. We don't
let it be.
Beer has what's called non-fermentable sugars already in it, things that the yeast will not break down. So they usually don't finish completely dry. And that's honestly part of why you use hops as a bittering. That's balancing the sweetness with the bittering. So it's not just for preservation, it's actually for a flavor balance too. But once you get rid of the adjustment process, get through, get done with the adjustment process. Yes, I am drinking a rye.
Then you're going to want to make sure that your brew is stable. And this is something that we didn't add in the notes. So if you back sweetened, that might be really important for you to stabilize your brew in some fashion, making sure that it doesn't continue to ferment unless, back to your intent, that is your intent.
Now, you could be step feeding to raise the ABV or to adjust the flavors even more. Maybe because one of the adjustments you could make is adding more alcohol, which could be fortification, could be letting it ferment further.
If you let it ferment further, whether that's your intent or you, forgot to stabilize, then you'll probably have to come back to the adjustment stage again, because the more the ABV is, the more the flavor can be a little bit out of balance and you'll have to readjust.
Plus, if you wanted something sweet and you let it ferment again, it's probably going to be dry or close to it.
So after everything is set and done, you're all good, you're stabilized, you have the flavor you want, let it sit.
Yep. And for us, we generally go on average anywhere from 4 to 9 months. Now, what determines 4 to 9 months? When we run out of fermenters. I will be totally honest. If we run out of fermenters and need one, well, we're going to start going with the oldest and just go up the line.
I'm looking up there. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
15,
11, 12,
18.
13, 14, 15.
And that's just on top.
Filled fermenters up top.
There's at least that many inside the
down below. And then I know we have 2 more in the kitchen.
Yeah. So we got a lot going on, and a lot of them are still in bottles because I hate bottling.
Right.
I hate bottling.
It's the least glamorous, exciting.
That's why we've started doing it for Beyond the Brews,
part.
because that makes it fun.
Right. Because then we're talking with you and it's good.
And you get to see how silly we are when we're actually bottling. And there's usually alcohol involved.
Which is the next step. So after you've waited, and the reason why we wait is to let all those proteins, all those chemical things that are going to occur in your bottle
It's aging.
happen in the fermenter. So when you get to bottling, which is the next step, you have a more clean and clear brew. That means that not as much crap is going to settle out in the bottom of your bottle.
One thing I want to say, when we age in a fermenter with an airlock. Keep those airlocks full of liquid, and it's fine, okay?
Yeah.
We do that on purpose, just in case there's ever a chance of re-fermentation or there's more off-gassing, because I don't want it to build up pressure. I just want it to off-gas naturally and sit. Like she said, all that sediment's going to fall out. Makes for cleaner bottles in the end.
Right. So the only variant from this list is if we want to naturally carbonate.
Oh, yeah.
If we naturally carbonate,
The weight
obviously
comes after the bottle.
we're going to bottle and then do our insurance yeast and our carbonation sugars and put that in the bomb shelter just in case something goes kablooey.
Usually about 3 weeks.
It's
for
contained
carbonation
in
these
that heavy-duty plastic tub rather than all over our studio space.
days. Now, you could, in theory, keg carb after bulk aging.
Yes.
For a long time.
Yes.
Not even in theory. You can, you can totally do it. There's no problem with doing that.
Right. And I would say in that instance, that could actually be considered an adjustment.
Yeah, you can even, somebody just told me today what they do is they, instead of making the adjustments and then wait, they wait and then make adjustments. And they said that they've never had a re-fermentation. Now I said, it's still safe to pasteurize and make sure, but even after that, they've back sweetened and all that and never had a re-fermentation, which is an interesting idea. Maybe something we could test.
Right.
Not sure how, but we could try.
If you waited a long enough time that
The yeast should all fall out.
right, we've done a
it's no
test where
guarantee.
we've done multiple rackings to see if you can rack enough to stop fermentation.
Doesn't work.
It wasn't.
Even with cold crashing added, it didn't work.
It wasn't 100%.
It's still re-fermented. But sitting long enough and then racking has a possibility. I still would say it's not as safe as pasteurizing or stabilizing in some way.
Yep.
So
And then after bottling, what do you do next?
you drink it.
You enjoy it.
Now, after bottling, as long as you bottled correctly, and by that I mean like crown caps or a really good seal on your bottle, stuff like that, they should last years. And when I say years, I mean like 3-4 years. But here's something to keep in mind. And we did a video on aging. We can put a link to that here so that you can watch that too. There is kind of a bell curve for things. And they tend to go up and up and up to about the 2 to 3 year mark. And then after that, they start to come back down. Now, it's not like at 3 years and 1 day, they suck.
Yeah, no.
It's more like from 3 to 5 years, they start to decline. And that's kind of a general idea.
Right.
We've all heard of wines that are 20 years old and stuff like that. You got to remember that whiskey and spirits are very different
Yes.
than wines and meads. vastly different amounts of alcohol,
Yeah,
vastly different methods.
We're not talking about spirits.
Right. Well, the reason I'm bringing it up is because I know people have said, oh, well, you could have whiskey that's a 12-year and a 25-year is even better. That's true because they're a different kind of thing.
Yes.
Wine and mead and cider and beer, they're much, much lower in alcohol, like usually a third of the alcohol at most, all the way to like a tenth of the alcohol of a spirit. So they don't age the same way. They don't need as much time, usually much, much less time.
You may find specific recipes are much better young, like Brian's simple sweet red wine is perfect once it's done. Aged, not so much. And then other things, particularly if you find a pronounced harsh note, might be better for you after a year of aging because that tends to smooth out those harsh notes and make everything just play nicely together.
But you can also adjust some of those harsh notes with adjustments. So see, there's multiple ways to achieve the same goal.
Yep.
And that's kind of what we're getting at is that this is just a basic skeleton procedure on how to make a brew. But the variables, and that's the devil's in the details. You know, there's so many little things that you can change that will make something slightly different and make it unique to you or unique to someone else or make yours different than the next person or all of the above.
Right. So when you're ready to make a brew, first, start with your intent. Second, grab all your ingredients, tools included. Third, let it ferment. Let it do its thing and just wait, which is fourth. Fifth, make your adjustments. Sixth, bottle. And seventh, enjoy.
If you have any questions on anything that we just talked about, please leave it in the comments section below, and I'll be happy to get to it just as quickly as I possibly can. And as always, guys, thanks so much for listening and watching, and have a great day.
Bye-bye.